Hey, also a little while ago, I ordered a knife off of eBay and they messed up and sent me this instead, which is the Swiss Tool Spirit Plus Ratchet. I think I got that all right, but I figured since I have it for a little while, I might as well take a look at it and review it. Here we are on the bench taking a look at the tool and its accessories or accessory tool, or I don't know, we'll figure it out. And basically, in short, this is Victorinox's answer to the Leatherman. That's pretty much cut and dry what it is. It's, that's it. So let's look at the tools. I'm not going to go into super detail because obviously most of this stuff is fairly simple, and you can find the details of all the functions on the website. So you get a file, three-sided, really nice, right? Can opener, which is nice. Nice is it has the can opener has a flathead screwdriver tip on the end. You get a Phillips head screwdriver, which is actually a nice size Phillips head. It's kind of a medium size and it's got a nice fine point, so would hopefully fit a wide range of screws, right? You've got a pry tool slash smaller flathead screwdriver, right? And then the final thing here on this side, you have a pair of scissors. Now, most people are familiar with the Swiss Army knife scissors. These are a little bit beefier, right? You can see here they're a little bit bigger and they have a little bit more, a little bit bigger spring, right? I really like these. These are actually really nice scissors. And the thing I like about Victorinox scissors is these are actually pretty robust. These are actually pretty solid, and I can show here, right? I've got some cardboard, right? I want to show here, these little scissors are not cheap, right? Like, I can go through and I can make a good clean cut through cardboard with these puny little scissors. You know, everybody makes fun of how small they are. Well, they're pretty sharp and they're pretty durable. So that's the one side. Oh, and I mentioned all the tools lock in place. So when you pull out a tool, right, it locks into place. It's actually, they lock pretty well. And then to disengage them, you just push this down on either side and it brings the tool back. So on the other side, you've got the only real true blade on this. It's a mostly serrated blade, right? Actually a really nice blade. I know some people are back and forth on whether or not they like a flat blade versus serrated. For me, it really doesn't matter. I guess I'd rather this be just a normal straight blade, not serrated. But it really doesn't matter because, and I've said this before about, like pocket knives and stuff, you're going to use the knife 95% of the time to cut open a box or, open your mail or cut twine or cut a zip tie, something basic and simple that really doesn't matter what style the blade is. But this is a nice blade, good and sharp, and can do all those and more. Right, moving along, you've got this chisel. Now this, I guess, is kind of more towards, if I was going to whittle something, I guess it would come in handy, but you've got multiple different blades here in different angles. So in your daily life, that may or may not come in handy. I guess some of those could probably use for stripping insulation off wiring. But yeah, so you've got that. Right, next you've got your bottle opener. Right, so pretty generic, don't need to go into a lot of detail here. Everybody knows what a bottle opener is. Great thing about these bottle openers is because of the hook here, it can also kind of be used as a pry tool. Also a Phillips head screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, but a real wide one on that one. All right, then you've got your awl. Right, this is good for a lot of people use it for like punching holes in a belt to make a new belt loophole. Right, that's good too. So, works there, good and sharp. Most people are used to that when it comes to Swiss Army knives. Now you've got the final tool, which is their saw. And the saw is actually really nice because you can look here, the teeth on this thing are actually pretty decent, pretty aggressive, and I tested a little bit on a couple little things, and it's a pretty good saw. Like, no, you're not going to be able to cut down a big old oak tree, but for small work, it's a decent saw. So those are the tools on the tool. And again, I'm not going to go super detailed just because I don't want to have a 45-minute video, and you can pretty much guess what most of the stuff is just by looking on the website. we're going to open it up, and then are the pliers. Now the pliers, the only thing I got to say I don't like about the pliers is the pliers are not spring loaded, right? But that's not the end of the world. I mean, that's not that big a deal. It's not going to change a lot. The one nice thing I do like is the fit and finish on these. Now, don't know how well you can see here, but really good fit and finish, right? So real good fit and finish, and everything is very smooth and polished. And the reason I like that is because so when you're gripping the tools, right, you're gripping them, everything on the ends is polished. So if you're really gripping hard, it doesn't dig into your skin. I've used some cheaper multi-tools like this, and when you're using the pliers, especially if you're using them a lot, the ends can kind of dig in, where because this is all smooth and polished, it's actually not that bad. The pliers lock in pretty good, right? So, you know, it's a good firm lock. And then closing it, the nice thing is how smooth it is to open and close. Like, it's not like, again, some of the cheaper multi-tools I've used where it's kind of, you know, you gotta like rip it open and pry it around. This is a very fluid motion, right? And it just feels quality. That's the one thing I'll say about this is I know some things, you know, this is a rather expensive tool. I believe they're about 150 on the website. Whether or not that's worth that would be up to you, but I can definitely see where they did not skimp on the manufacturing quality. Now we're going to talk about the accessories, and I can't talk about the accessories without talking about the pouch. So the pouch contains everything, right? Contains the tool, then contains the socket wrench, and the, of course, bottle opener, which I will show briefly, right? So here's where I'm torn on this, because on one hand, you've got a separate socket wrench, right? You've got a separate little mini socket wrench with bits and the extension, right? So you can pretty much have a separate wrench that you can use separate from the tool, but to utilize that, you've got to carry the separate tool. Now, the best way to carry this is, of course, in the pouch. So if you like carrying in a belt pouch, you're fine. But if you're one of those people that likes to have something on like in your pocket, well, then you're kind of at a disadvantage, because by not using the pouch, and I mean, I guess you could stick this big thing in your pocket if you really wanted to, but without having the pouch, you kind of have to find a home for this. Again, I like the separate wrench because it's certainly easier than having it attached to the tool. Like here's a multi-tool. This is a Avid Gun Tool Max, and it does have kind of a wrench attached to the side, and it's kind of awkward. It makes it real big, and to use it can sometimes be a little awkward, versus this, which basically acts like every socket wrench you've ever, or every ratcheting wrench you've ever used. You know, put the bit in and away you go. You know, lefty loosey, righty tighty, you can flip it, done. So again, I think the wrench is really good quality. You know, it does not, I did use it a little bit, and I mean, it didn't break. So, you know, it does seem to be a decent quality, small little socket wrench. But yeah, it comes with a assortment of tools. I'm not going to go into super detail because we all know what screwdriver heads look like, right? It does give you a couple extra slots, so if you get more bits, right, particular bits for what you're working on, you can put them in there and have your full assortment of bits, right? And then the wrench does click into the thing, so you can have that. Again, now to have the extension and this, it would kind of sit like this, and it does not go back in the pouch all the way, right? It kind of hangs out weird, which if you don't mind that, that's fine, but otherwise you would have to disconnect this, right? Oh, come on, there we go. Disconnect this, and then have that in there like that. So again, it's the inconvenience of having an external wrench with the advantage of having an external wrench, so that's kind of a decision you have to make. Now, I will briefly talk about this, because, of course, Swiss Army knives gotta have a corkscrew, right? So you'll see in here you have the little eyeglass screwdriver, right? That's really nice having a little screwdriver like that. It's funny because as someone that collects little vintage slot cars, you know, when you're taking them apart, that actually comes in handy. So to attach this, if you decided that, oh my God, I need a bottle of wine right now, right, there's this little hole here. So what you do is you insert it there, slide it in, and voila, you've got it ready. So that's pretty much the tool. Again, really nice tool. It is kind of an interesting design having these separate. I keep trying to put it in backwards. Having the socket wrench separate, but I think it's a really nice high quality tool. And if you're someone that likes carrying your tool on your belt and don't mind having a belt pouch, I think it's a definite uh, good thing to pick up. But if you're someone that is uh, more looking towards having just something in your pocket, well, then you might have features on here that you might not need. So that's my review of the tool. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them down below, and have a good day.